Hi, I'm Brooke, and this is Pippa. We travel full-time out of our Honda CRV, and we want to welcome you to join us on our journey. We are going to talk today about safety while living out of my Honda CRV, especially traveling as a female. I get this question asked all the time. Do you feel safe? Are you scared? And I have two parts to this answer. I have a real part, and then I have another kind of question of, isn't everyone scared when they try something new? Isn't everyone kind of scared until they get into routine somewhere? I mean, I've moved into new apartments and been scared. I've moved into new homes and been scared. I was scared when I moved away to college and had to practice living that lifestyle. But just like all of those places in college and new apartments and new homes, living in new neighborhoods, a new city, there are like those grace periods where you just have to get used to living in a new space. And so just like that, there is a community of RV people, travel people, van life people that you are then parking near all the time, right? So these places aren't secrets. I don't go into the backwoods and try to, stay out there. I like to stay in places with cell phone service. I like to stay at established spots where people camp. And so at the end of the day, it's less scary because I'm still around my community now. Like, I've been now in this community for almost 8 months. I'm parking near people who travel full time. You can tell who the full timers are. And so it's not as scary once you get used to it because it's then your new normal, if that makes sense. But on the flip side, there obviously are plenty and plenty of precautions I take as a human that is traveling. But the first one that always is my number one, safety tip or thing that I go by is my gut feeling. If I pull in somewhere and it could be the most gorgeous place ever, I could have had the best day hiking or walking with the dog and hanging out, but the second I feel like something is off, I will pick up and leave and go to a different spot. Even if that means I have to drive another 45 minutes to find a spot, even if that means that I have to leave somewhere gorgeous, even if that means I have to pack up everything and I'm mad about it, I will pick up and leave anytime my gut tells me that something is off, because I don't want to stick around and find out why I have that feeling. I do not suffer from a lot of anxiety, so when I have that off feeling, it is because my body, my brain is telling me to leave, and so I'm going to listen to it. And I've never regretted leaving a spot when I've had that feeling. Now, in the 8 months I've been on the road, I've had that feeling only about 5 or 6 times. And so it doesn't happen often. I can guarantee you that. And also, I have said this in a few videos that I travel like I'm on a long camping trip. So I'm usually staying in camping spots where families are camping, other people are pitching tents, people have their RVs, people have their toys out. There are other people around, and they're usually on a trip of some sort, like that is the goal, or they're also traveling full time. So a lot of people ask if people come up to your car or try to knock on your door or things like that, and that's never happened, ever. I could see that possibly happening if you're trying to park in a residential area, if you're at a Walmart, at a truck stop, at something else, and you're just kind of like, that convenience crime of people maybe pulling on people's doors just to see if there's something unlocked. But that's never happened to me because I'm usually out around other people who are doing the same thing. So that doesn't normally scare me. I just have had no concern. Plus, when you're a little farther out, you can hear when people drive up, you can see when people drive up. You can't really hide when you're doing this kind of stuff because it's a lot of gravel and dirt roads that are washboarded, or they're very loud when people are driving. There's not a lot of sneaking happening in the places that you're at, especially when it's so quiet. All you're hearing is nature around you. It's not like someone can be that sneaky, especially at night. And you have to think about, other campers are probably a little scared too, whether that be wildlife, of other people. A lot of the times people aren't just out and about trying to scare other campers, if that makes sense. My third thing is that I have a dog. She's really good at knowing when something sounds off or something is off. I get asked about wildlife a lot with the dog. I've never had a problem with her in wildlife and like parking up, you know, inappropriately because of wildlife or something like that. We have had a few times where I've just been parked somewhere, especially if it's just like at a trailhead or something and I'm trying to get some work done and that's the only place that I could get service, and people maybe walk up too close to the car or something like that, and she'll bark. I mean, she perks up and she knows when someone's around that shouldn't be around us. And so a dog is always a great security system. She makes me feel safe, you know. She's gonna know when something's off. The wildlife thing, if you're taking the precautions of wildlife in your area, I don't think you should be scared of wildlife. You should be respectful of it. You should not seek it out. But a lot of people ask me about bears. I've never seen a bear. I really haven't camped in bear country a whole lot, but I also don't keep food out. I don't leave trash outside. I don't, you know, leave cooking scraps and things like that. I don't just throw extra food outside my campsite. So I'm really trying not to attract any animals or wildlife because I'm following the rules of leave no trace, and that's part of all of that. So safety concern wise, I really have none. I feel much safer in a camping situation than I do when I'm sleeping at like a Walmart parking lot or a truck stop, just because of the sheer amount of people that are around. I think less people, less chance for convenient crime. And then at the end of the day, it is one of those things that if somebody does have poor intentions, I mean, there's only so much you can do about it, just like you can only do so much in a house or in an apartment or in another thing. A lot of people ask me about weapons or protection, and I like to be a mystery, so I'm not going to tell you what I have to protect myself or anything like that. I don't need to give away my secrets, but everybody should have a plan, and I have a plan. But I also, you know, put a lot of things in place, like following my gut, following the guidelines on where I'm supposed to be parking, scouting out the area when I pull in, making sure I kind of know the sounds and the feel of the place. All of that helps way more than any kind of protection at the end of the day. Plus, if someone's motivated to drive 4 miles down a dirt washboard road at, you know, 15 miles an hour to come hurt people, I mean, they are highly motivated, and I don't think anything would stop them at that point. So I think it's just one of those things that I could go to bed every single night and sleep terrible because I'm so scared, or I could just know that I did everything that I can do and I have not, you know, been careless or made any mistakes, and get a good night's sleep. And if something happens, something happens. But something, I mean, I've had my house broken into when I lived in a townhouse, or attempted to break in, and so it's just, it can happen anywhere. So I can't live my life every single day just terrified, or I wouldn't get any sleep and I would hate this. So but it definitely takes some time to get used to. But safety most of the time is not a concern for me, as long as I'm being aware, I'm taking my precautions, I'm not, you know, being lax on my safety. So I hope that kind of helped. A little bit long-winded, but I hope this helped, and I will see you guys on the next one.